Hello and welcome to Down the Vent. My name's Joe and today we're going to hop in our go-karts and race our friends in Oddbods Go-Kards. Let's check it out. Before we take a look at how to play Oddbods Go-Kards, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can catch all of our reviews, live playthroughs, and top 10 videos. Okay, so here I have the game set up for 4 players, and this is the kids version of the game that I have set up because we're only using the basic movement cards, the Jeff's rulebook, excuse me, and then the 2 dice. There are some extra boards here, so like this is if you're playing with the Powerup Cards. These are for like the most advanced gamers, and there are a bunch of special rule cards as well that come with the game that you actually shuffle in with the movement cards. They give you different abilities, like just all your moves kind of have special abilities on them. They're not just basic move cards. In the basic movement deck, though, there are still movement cards that have some special abilities. They're just less complicated, and they're just easier to read. Like, my son's 6, so he's still learning to read some of the larger words, but he can get through most of these words with just a little bit of help. So it's nice having a card game that I can actually play with my son with a theme that he really enjoys because he watches the Oddbods show on YouTube and whatnot. So, okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at how to play the game, I guess. So, every person will start with 3 cards, 3 of the movement cards in their hand. So these won't be laid out normally. You'll have them in your hand so you can just look at them and choose. But just for the ease of example, we're going to lay them on the table. And on your turn, you can pick a card, play it, and then take and move that far. So like this movement card, say I want to play this, it lets me move 2. So I'm going to take my little guy here. And the game does come with 7 different racers, so there's lots of options here for your cart. Oh, and that's also what I'd like to say. This is a prototype version of the game. It's not the finished product, so like any of the art, the dice, the wooden pieces, anything like that are subject to change during the Kickstarter and whatnot. So if you're not impressed with how this looks, don't worry, it'll probably change. So I played that. I can move 2. And in the basic version, the children's version, you can just ignore the pay to. In the more advanced version, you can buy these Powerup Cards, and they'll cost $3 to $4. So instead of moving, you can use your cards to buy things as well. So you're going to move 2, and then there's different things that can happen depending on what color space you land on. So let's go ahead and zoom in on one of these and take a look. So orange spaces. If you land on an orange space, you'll go ahead and follow the arrow to the whatever space it goes to. It's just kind of like a jump ahead. Like, think chutes and ladders. It's a ladder. The pink spaces here are the only spaces on the board where you can have more than one person on them. And then when you leave them, you can follow them whichever direction when you leave. So this one you can go forward or right, and this one you can go right or left. Okay? The white spaces are just nothing. They're just null spaces where you don't have to do anything. So that's good. The blue spaces, which are right here, actually allow you to roll the blue die. So you'll roll that, and then there's 6 different options of what can happen on this die. So the first option is nothing. Okay, that's not bad. Better than the next option, which is lose a space, or move back a space. But the cool part about this die is that you can actually use it against someone else. So if you don't want to lose a space, you can say, hey, Dad or Mom, go back a space. They can also change lanes when they do this. This one just allows you to change lanes, which can be really helpful because if someone's going really slow up this track, you can switch lanes and kind of speed past them in the other lane, because you can never pass someone unless they're on a pink space. You can never have more than one person. You can never move past someone that is in front of you. This result lets you move ahead 1 space and also change lanes. This one lets you move ahead 2 spaces, which is amazing. And this one, which is not so great, makes you move back 2 spaces. But again, you can play that on someone else. So that's what the blue ones do. The yellow spaces here actually let you draw an extra card. So those are always good because you get more options of what you want to play from your hand. You do have a hand limit of 5 cards, though, in the game. So you can't really go above that. But again, in the more advanced version with the Powerup Cards, there are Powerup Cards that let you increase your hand limit by 1 or 2 more cards. And lots of stuff like that. So you get more options with the more advanced players. The next spot here is the red. So on the red spot, you will have to discard a card, but then you get to move forward. The purple spots are pretty interesting. So when you land on a purple spot, you're going to draw the top Jeff's Rulebook card, which are these purple back cards. And this one says, if you have more than one card, follow the arrow. So if you break the rule, then you would have to go back and follow the arrow. If you do not break the rule, so if I only had one card in my hand, then I would just stay there and ignore the result. And then the last spot on this board is the green spaces. And the green spaces just mean you're safe. You're taking a nap, it says, with one of the Oddbods. And you can't be attacked by like other players' cards or by like the dice and stuff like that. So green's always not bad either. So the cool part, so let's go ahead. We're supposed to move 2, so let's go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, and I hit an orange space, so I just follow the arrow. Great, good start, right? So we'll go ahead and draw a card, and that'll end my turn. The next person, they can move 1 or 2. Well, they might as well follow me and move 2 as well. There's not a lot of options right now on the board, so we'll go ahead. And because this is a pink space, more than one card can land there. All right, that'll be their turn. The next person here has a purple card. So these purple cards are like the special cards, but kind of, like I said, a little more basic. So this says, racers have 20 seconds to make you smile. If they fail, you can chain with one more card. So I could move 1, and if they didn't make me smile within 20 seconds, I could just make an angry face and not let anyone see it. Then I can actually play another card with it. Since I'm playing by myself, it's a little hard to do that, so we're just going ahead and do the move 3 and see how that works. So, 1, 2, 3, just another pink space, nothing special here. They'll go ahead and draw a card, and we'll go to the next player. They're going to move 2 as well, so we'll go 1, 2, and again, they follow that orange arrow, and that is a pink space, so we're back to the first player. So this game goes pretty quickly, but we're going to keep going here and show you what happens when we get to one of the corner pieces here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card here. It says, give another racer a compliment. You're not being like, you're a jerk, and passing them. You can say, hey, you did really good last turn. Hey, you have a great smile, and I'm going to play this card. So I gave the other player a compliment, so I'll get to move 1, which is this one here. And then I can chain it with up to 2 more cards. So I can actually play 2 more cards my turn. So I moved 1, and I land on a yellow, which lets me draw a card. So now I can play my next card. So I'm going to move 2 more. 1, 2. Now, I would resolve that one. It's pink. Nothing happens. So I'll play the next one. 1, 2. So now I'm Trigger the Truck. So Trigger the Truck space says, discard 2 cards, and all racers on the next segment return here. So I have to discard the 1 extra card I have. But if anyone was up here, it would draw them all the way back to the truck. So that is really powerful later in the game. Or like, say I'm all the way up here and someone else lands there. That's really going to make me sad. And then I would draw a card. And now I only have 1 card in my hand. I don't have 3 like before. So I don't have as many options. I'll need to try and focus on landing on those yellow spots so I can get more cards in my hand. So that was my turn. We just go to the next player, and you'll keep going around and around and around. And then the first player to cross the finish line will win the game. It ends immediately. You don't get everyone doesn't get an extra turn or anything like that. It's just the first player that crosses wins the game. If you want to keep going and see who gets second, third, fourth, go for it. So the other corners have some special abilities on as well. So this trash can one says pick a card from the discard pile, and then while you're there, you're also immune. And then this one, the Pogo ice cream area, says roll both Pogo's dice. So you'll notice there's actually 2 dice in the game. And then add the multiplier die. So the multiplier die has 6 sides as well, and they're a little bit different than the other one. So we covered what the other one did, right? This one has multiplier. So like this first side here actually multiplies your result by 3. So you can make someone go back -6 spaces, or you yourself could actually end up going forward 6 spaces if you had the +2 and the 3 times multiplier. There's a 1 times multiplier, which essentially does nothing. There's this one, which is like the chill out and you just miss your turn. There's this symbol here, which is take a card from eraser, so you just get to randomly steal a card. There's the 2 times multiplier. And then there's this symbol here, which is amazing. You take a card from everyone. So that would be huge. You'd get a bunch of cards in your hand and really just have tons of options for the next game. So I really want to try and get there and hopefully roll that on the die so I can steal a bunch of cards. But that is essentially how you play the most basic version of Oddbods Go-Kards. Again, like I said, there are the special cards you can add in that give more abilities, and then there's the Powerup Cards that even give you more options and then allow you to use your cards not only for movement, but for buying and increasing, like getting permanent abilities as well. And some of these permanent abilities are like really good, like you move 2 extra spaces every turn, or You can hold extra cards in your hand, and just tons of stuff like that. So, really neat how these work. And again, they would go on this board, and there will be 3 out to preview, and then when one of these gets purchased, you know what is going to move down, and then one will get refreshed from the deck. And then you can always pay $1 to refresh the store as well, so all the unpurchased equipment will go to the bottom of the deck, and you move everything down. So that's the basics of how you play Oddbods Go-Kards. Let's go ahead and head up and see what I think of the game. Okay, so what do I think about Oddbods Go-Kards? It's interesting. It's rare that you get a racing game that is card-based in the first place. So it's not dice, and there's not a lot of luck. It's based off of like you actually choosing where you want to move. It's even more rare that you have one that you can play with your children. So, first of all, when I got this, my kid saw it, and he was like, "Whoa, Oddbods!" So he was excited just by the theme alone. Then we opened it up, and I read the rules, and I was like, I think you can play this with me, which I believe is the point of it. It's ages 7 and up. My son's 6, and he struggled with some of the words on the cards, but with a little bit of help, we had no problem. And that's fine. You can totally help your kid out with just the reading part. It doesn't really, at least on the basic movement cards, it's not going to hurt you that much just to help them read those special abilities. So as long as they can know that move is the bottom right-hand corner, and the money they can just ignore. In the basic version, you don't need that at all. So they just got to look at the number in the bottom right, and then they can know what the spaces do on the board. They can start to make decisions about, like, oh, do I want to move 2 or do I want to move 1? Because if I move 2, I'm going to land on the purple, and then I have to move back spaces. It was really cool seeing him start to think out his like the process of getting across the board and what the bad things that can happen to him, or the good things that can happen if he lands on an orange space. So it was interesting seeing him look at his hands and say, oh, if I only move 1 space, I'll hit that orange, I'll jump ahead 4 more spaces. So that's way better than me playing the 2, which is great, because there's not a lot of kids' games that give them that opportunity to actually critically think like that. Critically think, it's not like rocket science, right? But it's interesting to see him actually process, oh, 3's the bigger number, I want to go 3, versus if I play 1, I'll go further. So that's cool. That's like the first time I've actually got to experience. So that was great for me. But the game in general was fun. Like, even as an adult, I enjoyed playing it. Seeing what cards I had in my hand, using the special abilities that we had, and having to compliment each other was great, because usually when you're playing games and racing, you're like, yeah, I passed you, eat my dirt, or eat my dust. So having a game where you're actually complimenting each other to go further is great. This is a good, fun family game. I asked my son what his rating of the game was. He gave it 11 stars out of 2. I don't know what that means. I guess that means it's really good. He wanted to play it again and again, and I wanted to play it too. And the ability to add in all the extra cards to make it more difficult with like the cards that you can buy, or the special cards that make the different movements harder, or different movement abilities, is good too, because then as he ages we can start to add those in and it gets a little more difficult. Or if I want to try playing it with my adult friends, which might be a stretch with the theme, but who knows. Having the ability to buy cards as well is a cool difference that is added in the wall. And I like that they took care to make sure this spans across multiple generations, and it's not just a kid's game that's roll a die, move 2 spots, okay, next person's turn. I'm glad that there's thought. I'm glad that there's different things that can happen on the board that your kids have to consider and you have to consider before moving. And I like that there's different lanes, so you can try to go around someone if they're going slow, or you do get stuck behind each other, because then it says, well, why are you, they also have to think about, if I'm behind mom or dad and they're only 1 spot ahead of me, I shouldn't use a 3, because then I'm not going to get to move the 3 anyway. So I really enjoyed it. I was surprised with how much thought you actually have, like how many choices you actually get on your turn. So I highly recommend you check out the Kickstarter. It is funding right now. Start looking for funding right now. So I'll put the link in the description below. Go ahead and hit that and get tons more information on it and how to play is not just my basic, what I covered. They'll cover the entire game and the advanced versions as well. So check that out. And until next time, my name's Joe, and you've been watching Down the Vent. Bye!